Hi, this is Rashmi with the Kishinevsky Law Firm. I am the managing partner of the Kishinevsky Law Firm here in Houston, Texas. Let's talk liability insurance. What is it? How does it work? Do you need to have it? So let's start with the last question. By state law, if you are a Texan living in Texas, you must have liability insurance. It is required to have it by the state of Texas if you are on our roads. What is it? There are various types of insurance that you can have. You can have liability, collision, UIM, but today we're just going to go ahead and talk about liability. It is insurance that covers other drivers or even pedestrians, in some cases, on the roads. If you are at fault for an accident, it does not cover you, it covers the other driver, which is another reason why it's required by state law. The state of Texas wants to know that you're able to pay for damages, whether it's repair of a vehicle, medical bills, that sort of thing, if you do cause a wreck on our roads. Liability insurance is the number one thing that I would say everyone has if they have vehicle insurance. It does not cover medical for yourself. That's a different kind. It does not cover repairs to your own vehicle. That is a separate type of insurance. For liability insurance to pay out for the other driver's claims or the other pedestrian's claims in an auto ped situation, you must have been the one at fault. In a situation where you're not at fault, your liability insurance is not going to cover that other driver. There are various limits for liability insurance. What does that mean? It means that if someone has 1 million in damages per se, hypothetically, but your liability insurance is the bare minimum, the minimum required by state law is what we call 30, 60, 25. That's 30,000 per person, 60,000 per an accident, or 25,000 for the collision or repairs to the vehicle in case of total loss or if it just needs to be repaired. If that person has, let's say, 80,000, 100,000, a million in damages, and your insurance has already paid out the full policy limits, that's all. That's it. You're kind of done. So there are different limits, and you don't have to have the minimum policy required by the state of Texas. You can have 100,000, 300,000. Obviously, those types of higher coverage tend to actually cost you more. But generally, most Texans who have the appropriate and proper amount of insurance they're supposed to have by state law have just a minimum. That's 30, 60, 25.
The reason why the state of Texas requires people who drive vehicles on its roads to have liability insurance in most cases, the actual term is proof of financial responsibility, and there are a few other alternatives that maybe 99.9% of Texans will not use because they don't apply to them, such as putting a cash bond up with the state. But the reason why liability insurance is required for drivers to have in Texas is as a matter of policy. We want to make sure that if someone causes an accident and causes harm to another person, there's a way for the person who was harmed to get compensation and be put in the same place that they would have been if the harm hadn't happened. And in countries where liability insurance is not required, I believe China is one example, Russia is another. What happens if two people get in an accident? Well, someone has to go follow someone, down a dark alley or whatever it is. Oh yeah, meet me here and I'll give you the money. And that would be the alternative if liability insurance didn't exist. So the reason why we require liability insurance or its equivalent as a matter of law is because we want to make sure we have a mechanism in place for people who are injured as a result of a car accident to be able to get the compensation that they're supposed to get without possibly having to go chase someone down or put themselves in a bad or dangerous situation.
And in relation to liability insurance, because the state of Texas does require it, if you cause a car accident, if you cause a wreck or some other collision, and police show up to the scene, and not only did you cause the wreck, but you do not have proof of insurance, you can and will receive a citation or traffic ticket. Because like I said, it's required. You must have it if you're going to be on our roads. It's something to take into consideration. Like I said previously in other videos and other conversations, liability insurance only covers the other driver, their passengers, or maybe even in terms of an auto pedestrian situation where you hit a walker in a crosswalk, it'll cover their injuries. It does not cover your potential injuries. It does not cover collision or repair to your vehicle. That's a different type of insurance. So definitely make sure to check your policies. If you're like, oh, I might want more than liability insurance under my plan, there are various other types of insurances that you can get. You can get your own personal collision coverage. So regardless of fault, your vehicle will be covered. You can also get what we call UIM or UM, that's underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage. That will also cover you. Let's say another driver hits you and they don't have liability insurance. You want to make sure you're covered in every scenario. If you have any further questions or you've ever been in a wreck, you can contact us online at www.832law.com or call us at 832 Law 1111.